Hello, everybody. Welcome. So most all y'all who take class with me or who have taken class with me, you probably know that I really dig Iyengar. I am not an Iyengar teacher, no way, Jose, but both of my main teachers were, and so I have a lot of his style of teaching in me and in my teaching. I would say I'm definitely of his lineage in my own way. And I want to start by reading a quote of his that I really like, right? Change is not something that we should fear. Rather, it is something that we should welcome, for without change, nothing in this world would ever grow or blossom, and no one in this world would ever move forward to become the person they're meant to be. And again, that's BKS Iyengar. And I'm bringing that up because, we are in a time right now of great change. And all of us have change happening in some form or another. Some of us less than others. If you were already retired and you were already at your homes every day, if you worked from home, if you write different things, different people, and yet at the same time, there's big change for all of us right now, and that's probably going to move forward. And so, in honor of that, that quote just to make us think about, hey, change doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? It can end up having a lot of really positive effects. And I think there's something about opening to the mystery of that and the mystery of change. And I'd like to offer that to you while we're moving through this strange time, this period in our history. On that note, Iyengar would often do classes where vinyasa, most of us know vinyasa yoga, and that's what we think about in the Western world when we think about yoga, right? It's where you go through those sun salutations, and you lift your leg up, step it forward, and then you go through your warrior two, your moving postures, back through your push-up to your upward dog, right? And so you have this series that you do. Vinyasa is the placement. It means placement or breath, right? And so it's the pattern that you put something in. And although we're used to that one regular pattern, I think there's something about busting out of that, right? And doing a pattern that's not as familiar. And so I'm going to do that for us here on the yoga mat in hopes that then that helps ease that for us or make it easier when we try to do that in other aspects of our life. So, thank you, Iyengar, for teaching me this tool. It's been great for me personally. I hope you guys find it useful. Let's get moving. You don't need but can have a blanket, especially if you have sensitive knees or if your hips are tight. And we're going to start with Matsyendrasana, a twist, a seated twist. Oops. If you have a blanket, pull it over so that just the edge, actually I'll mirror you guys, so that it's just at the edge of your right buttocks. You bring your left leg under, and you're going to step your right leg over. Now, if this is not accessible, you can leave the bottom leg straight, or you can just have the right foot in front of the hip. All of these are beautiful. I'm going to speak to this one right now, right? When you try to lengthen the spine, that right buttocks is going to want to come up with you. So can you get that right buttocks to move down to the ground, right? Both buttocks rooting down, and then can the spine grow up out of that? You're going to interlace your hands and bring them around the knee. And as you pull against that knee, you're not twisting yet, right? Pardon me. First, just let it be that you're lengthening that spine, softening the shoulders, checking in with the neck and the jaw. And then from there, you're going to go ahead, you're going to pull kind of a little bit at an angle so you can start the twist while both hands are on that knee. Now, you can get a better grip or just leave that left hand around the right leg. And then you're going to inhale that right arm up. I have to remember I'm mirroring, and then lengthen out that side waist. Now bring that arm back and let that continue your twist. So as my arm reaches back behind me, my chest is going to open. Don't go crazy with that arm. And then right there, pause, shoulder height. Now can you reach the fingertips a little further back behind you, opening the front of your left chest? And then without changing anything in the spine or the chest, bring the right fingertips down. Inhale, think of height. And exhale, maybe go a little deeper into the twist. I personally am not going to go a whole lot deeper. I'm just going to add my neck in because I didn't have that going as far as it could, right? Easily, gently. Take another breath, inhale, get a little taller, and exhale. Now go ahead and turn your head and look over your left shoulder or whatever that is to you, however far you get comfortably and easily, right? Gently. And then release the body forward. Now, we'd normally go to the other side. We normally wouldn't do this twist probably right away in the beginning of a class, right? So we're gonna try to get up from here. Some of my friends may want the use of their hands, and that is totally wonderful and acceptable. Some of my friends, you might challenge yourself. You're gonna put weight in that right foot, it would be for you, and the left shin, right? And then go ahead and see if you can stand up, what would almost be a curtsy in some places of days of yore, and then go ahead and come on up and stand in Tadasana. Now, try to find the bony parts of your feet rooting down, right? Palm onto the big toe, particularly palm onto the pinky toe and the middle of your heel. And then think of all the fleshy parts, and especially that center of the foot with the arches. Think of that lifting up. And as the arch area of the foot lifts up, can that lift come all the way through your legs, through your pelvic floor, through your low belly, right? And can it come up all sides of your spinal column so that you get a little taller? Now go ahead and bring the right hand onto the thigh. And you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna just slide that hand down. We're not trying to get to the knee or anything, right? There's a place where if you don't contort your spine, you'll probably have just a gentle stopping point. Now reach that left arm forward, bring the hand right behind the head at the base of the occiput where your skull and your neck connect. My shoulder issue friends, hands can be on hip A. B, you might bring the elbow in and just reach that elbow kind of up and away on a diagonal, right? If it's okay to reach the elbow away from the face and reach that up and back and feel that opening come across this left side body, pause there for a moment. And if it's okay with your shoulder girdle, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna reach that arm and lengthen, extend the arm. I'm not going further into a side bend, I'm just now lengthening. And if I really root my left foot down, I might even start to feel how instead of just being an armpit stretch, this starts to stretch and lengthen my whole left side of my body. And inhale, coming back up, arm's gonna come down. Again, we're just letting this left hand slide down. You'll notice I'm not going very far. You might put your hand on your hip and work the shoulder back. You might bring that arm forward, and then when you get there, you're gonna bring that hand at the occiput, and you can leave the elbow in, right, and reach forward and away on a diagonal, or you might reach that elbow up and just start to move it gently back. You're not going for a huge chest opener here. Just feel that length, and then maybe wherever you are, if it's okay, you're gonna lengthen that right arm, straighten it, and I'm not going further into my side bend. I'm just starting to root my right foot down and lengthen and lengthen and lengthen. And again, if you're used to always doing this a very particular way, maybe you give that up today and you be open to whatever today holds for you in your body. And inhale, bringing that, light all the way down to your side. Okay. So now I want you to think of, I saw this done recently on an online class, and he talked about it being a marriage proposal, and that made me kind of crack up. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to step your left knee back, and then you're just going to bring it straight down to the ground. Now, my sensitive knee friends, this is a place where you've got that possibility of a blanket underneath your knee. Couch, cushion, pillow, you name it, yeah? From here, we're not going to go any deeper into this lunge, but I want you to push your right shin down, right? And as you push your right shin down, you might even start to feel how that, wait, am I mirroring you? I'm not, am I? Huh? Uh-oh. So I had you step your left leg back, so my right leg's back. Awesome. Okay, so you're going to push your left shin down. Sorry about that, friends. And as you push your left shin down, I want you to think about this hugging in. And that should naturally happen. I don't want you to, right? But as you move the shin and the knee down into the earth, naturally you start to get a little activity in your glutes and your hamstring. And as this begins to contract, this begins to stretch. Doesn't have to be any bigger than that. My sensationalist and my extremist, let it go. Just feel the opening coming on in, right? Think of those frontal hip points, those as is bones, just lightly pulling up. Soft shoulders, yeah? And then from here, we're gonna step that right leg out to the right. It's going to be a variation of gate pose of Parigasana. And if you're like, oh, sweet, then I'm going to go through the whole thing. Again, maybe do it differently today and see if change isn't good for you. Some of my friends, you're so addicted to doing the same thing that no matter what a teacher teaches, you're still going to do the same sequence. You're going to do the same thing the same way. If they suggest something, you're like, nope, I got it. I know it. And, you know, that's an addiction. It really is, right? I'm not saying I know better. You might take this class and not like it, but change the way you do things every once in a while so your body has the ability for more possibility, right? Don't get stuck in one belief where this is the only way it's going to go. I'm done with my lecture, I think. That was a surprise lecture, guys. You're going to bring that right hand inside. Some of my friends, you might be able to drop down to the ground. I am feeling tightness in my side body, so I'm going to stay right about here. And then from there, you're going to reach that left arm up and bring that over into that position we were just in moments ago, right? Couple of things you might play with here. You might play with pushing down the outer left knee and seeing if that doesn't help, just like when we had that foot pushing down, that whole side waist lengthen. Some of my friends, you might play with, if my chest moves down a little bit more and I get the backs of my ribs, is that better for my body today? If I push into the leg and rotate my ribs a little forward, my right ribs, does that feel like it gets me more? And if, you know, if one of them isn't better, I shouldn't say that word, it doesn't feel right, more right for you today, you're going to go ahead and just go somewhere in between, yeah? But you can play with it and find out what area of your body is asking for the stretch more today. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Now, when you come up, think about keeping all the length on the left side body. Don't lose that. You're going to bring those shins down. We're going to go into an easy version of camel pose, yeah? So rooting down through your feet and your shins, we just did that in that lunge. It's the same idea, so that I feel a little bit of activity in my hams and in my glutes. Now, Mr. Iyengar calls this right here, this area, the top of the eyebrow of the buttocks. So I want you to put your hands across the eyebrow of your buttocks, right? The very top of the buttocks flesh. And it's not so much that I'm going to push my hips forward as I'm going to lengthen that down so I keep my low back really long. We're not going into full lustrasana for my extremist. Try not to do it. Give it up. Move those elbows back. And as I push my buttocks, my eyebrows of my buttocks gently down and pull my frontal hip points up, right? Can my shoulder blades help the chest move forward and up? It's very gentle. We haven't done a lot of back bending. Don't be crazy with this. Say hello to your lungs and your heart and your, where am I going? Not the thyroid gland, the thymus, Jiminy Christmas. And inhale. And coming back up to your center, reach the arms down by the side. Okay, so now we're going to go through that whole sequence on the other side. So if you were using a blanket underneath you, you can get that prepared. You might just be on the ground, just depends on bodies. So this time I'm on the right buttocks is on the edge. I bring the left foot through and my right leg steps over. And if we did the other side, we did. Oh my gosh. This is why I shouldn't mirror you when I'm by. We're too many days in, you guys. I'm losing it. I think this is the side that we're on, but if I'm incorrect, do the other side, please, and just reverse everything I say, right, left. Oh my gosh. So my left buttocks is on the edge. My right foot comes through. My left foot steps over. I could redo this and try to polish it, but like, this is the reality, yo. I'm still lost and I don't know what I'm doing either. I'm with you, right? So from there, ask that left buttocks to sink down. As both buttocks root into the earth, can you find that lifting from the pelvic floor all the way up through the crown of the head? We're going to interlace and bring it around the legs, right? First, I'm pulling against it. I'm not turning yet. I'm lengthening, softening the shoulders, the tongue, and the jaw, right? Get those bubbies out of it. Now from there, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a pull, like my left elbow would be moving out to the left, right elbow would be moving out to the right just a little bit as you start to move into that twist, right? Now, you're going to keep your right hand on the left leg, reach your left arm up, And then as you start to reach it back behind you, you're going to let that start to rotate your left ribs open towards the back of your room. Now I have my curtain in front of me, otherwise I'd be full extension through my fingers. So extend through your fingers and see if you can't find that rib rotation without using your arms too much yet, yeah? And then just simply bring the hands down. Inhale, find length or height again. And then exhale. Again, my body's pretty good in. For me to go any further, I'd be really cramming it, and I don't need to do that anymore. I learned that a while ago, yeah? So maybe you just let that head turn a little further in. Notice where you force yourself, or where you think you should be more, or it should look different, or you should be able to do more. Notice when you get addicted, wanting to go further than what I've said, doing something differently. Can you be open to change? Again, this isn't so much about the physical practice or me wanting to control you. This is about you being open to change. Inhale. Exhale there. Turn your head only to look over the right shoulder-ish. That can be big or small, whatever feels right in your body. And then you're going to turn that body forward. Now we're going to try to get up. Feel free to use fingers, walls, doors, chairs, you name it. But maybe you put some weight in that left foot and the right shin, and then you start to step up. You might even curtsy just for fun and pretend you're, I don't know, a princess or something. I don't know, a courtesan. And then go ahead and stand up nice and tall. Tadasana. Find the bony parts rooting down. Fleshy parts lifting up. Just a different way to talk about it. Think about that in your foot for a little bit. If you're used to someone saying something one way, what does it mean to work this way, right? Let's go to the left. Left hand on the thigh. Reach the right arm up first this time. And then exhale, slide over. Now the urge is going to be to go into a huge C curve. But I'm asking you just to float as far as is comfortable, gently, to where that hand feels like it's got a natural stop. And then reach through the right heel and all the way through the right fingertips to lengthen that side waist. For a lot of us, that upper trap starts to really kick in. So soften the upper trap. You just saw me soften mine. I was in mine for sure. And now play with that line we played with in Parigasana gait. Go ahead and rotate the ribs just a little bit down, a little more the back side of the rib cage maybe. And then rotate the ribs behind you. You might even turn and look up and find out which one is your body craving today, right? And then sit in that. And if it's neither, then just be right in the middle. You can turn the head and look down. If that feels nice in the neck, you can look straight forward. You can look up. One is not better than the other ever, but particularly not today. Maybe if you always turn and look up, maybe turn and look down. And what does that feel like to have that change? Something you're not used to happening. Inhale, come all the way up. Right hand, right thigh, left arm reaches up. And again, don't go by the spine or by lengthening the side body. Go simply by elongating, yes, but then start to slide down, and where you get to that comfortable stopping spot, pause. Could I go further? Probably, but I'm compressing parts of my spine that aren't awesome to compress, right? I'm going to push through my left foot and I'm going to lengthen out. I come from the school of extremist and sensationalism. I mean, I was a master at my craft, right? So I know it well. Go ahead and turn and look down. Maybe the ribs turn a little bit. And turn those ribs a little behind you. Again, just kind of play with it. Where is it that on this round, and it might be different than what you had last round, feels like, oh gosh, yeah, that would be really wonderful to stop there and then pause and lengthen. If you always look up, I'm going to encourage you today to look down. But if your neck is like, no, actually, this is where I should be, go there. Soften the left shoulder away from the ear. Take one more breath and lengthen. Left heel down through the left fingertips. And inhale, come all the way back up. We're going to go into our marriage proposal. And this time it's your right knee back, which means my left knee. Please let that be true. Maybe a blanket underneath the knee, maybe not. Or the other one if I said it wrong. Oh, geez Louise, right? And then as you root down into that right leg, again, I want you to just notice if you can feel a little engagement in the glutes and the hamstrings. Now, it shouldn't be like, it's just a light contraction to open up the front of your right hip. And we'll go into Parigasana, or a version thereof today. You're going to walk that left leg out, heels underneath the knee-ish, knees in line with the hip-ish, 90 degrees-ish, right? Bring that right arm in. And then for left arm, for some of my friends, you might bring that to the ground. That's a little extreme for my body personally, but I don't want to hold you back. But if you're doing this to get there, is it beneficial? I don't know. If you're always there, maybe you play from a different area today. And then that right arm is going to reach up and over, or hand on hip, shoulder working back. Soft right inner shoulder. And a couple of things you can play with, that idea that I've introduced now of rolling a little forward or rolling a little back with the right rib cage, and finding that area that your body's like, oh, that's the one today, mama, right, or papa. And then maybe if you always turn and look up, maybe you turn and look down today. Maybe even drop that chin a little bit. That's usually a nice stretch in the back of the neck, right? There's benefits to all these different things. We just get used to going to the same place thinking that's what it has to look like. That's where it's at, right? Maybe you push the arm into the leg, the left arm into the left leg to get a little rotation. But if that's not helpful, I'm not sure why you would do that. Still pressing the right shin down, by the way, for that light engagement of the right buttocks and hammy. Hammy, I just said it, inhale, come on up. I don't usually say hemi or hemis because I don't know that I like that term very much. Second version of camel pose, we're not dropping back to heels. Even if you're capable, I'm going to ask you not to do that today. Instead, what happens if you bring your hands, we're going to get a little intimate with ourselves. It's just us, and you know, there's not a lot of physical touch happening these days, or maybe you have it. Wonderful, I don't, right? So why not touch yourself right here? You're going to bring your hands, depending on your body proportion, either to the bottom of the buttocks, or if you can get right at the top of the inner groin. Your fingertips are going to help pull the inner groin towards the wall behind you. Move the shoulder heads back, shoulder blades down. If that's not working for you, go back to the eyebrow of the buttocks. Now imagine your hands were on the eyebrow of the buttocks. Go ahead and move the eyebrow of the buttocks down as if your hands were helping. Push your shins down and feel your hamstrings start to contract lightly under your hands. And then really gently guide the inner groin back behind you to the wall behind you. And again, let it be a soft and shallow opening of the chest. It's not the deepest back bend we've ever done, but we don't need that today. We're looking for something different. We're looking for change and being comfortable with change. Can you be? Or did you just drop back because, well, that's what I do, that's where I go? And breathe, inhale. And is that what's best today? Is that what balances you? And inhale, come on up. Okay, friends, so we have one more little bit before we end, and that is, well, I guess two more little bits. First is just letting the legs come on out in front of you for a forward fold. You can fold that blanket over or use a pillow if you'd like something under your butt. You can be up on the edge of a chair, my imaginary chair. It's there, you just can't see it. That's why I'm pointing over there. And you can just have the legs extend out in front of you as straight as they can. You might bend a little bit, whatever you need. Get long. So these things are called forward folds, and I like to point that out because I think a lot of people think of them as downward folds, and they're really going to try to get to their legs. So this is the top rim of your pelvis, the back rim of your sacrum. I want you, even if you don't put your fingers there, imagine my fingers energetically being there. And when you go in, don't lead with your nose, your chin, or your shoulders, but lead with that upper rim of the pelvis, right? Knees bent really helps that action. So if you're someone who's like, I don't need bent knees, I would straighten my legs. Bend them a little bit for this piece, humor me. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen that upper rim of the pelvis forward. Now maybe you straighten the legs. Maybe you choose not to today, just to do something different. Change it up a little bit. And then if you come down, the way I've always been taught is rather than letting your nose drop down to your shins, let your belly drop down to your thighs, low belly, then mid belly, then low floating ribs, right? And then the chest, and then the upper chest, and then the chin, and then the neck. So it's more of a softening than just a collapsing in. And, you know, I always think about my spinal column, and yeah, we're built for forward folds and back bends and side stretches and twists. But, you know, if we push ourselves into these extremes, I'm not sure how healthy that is for the discs of the spine. If I just simply drop my chin and collapse in, you know, I'm putting a lot of pressure on the front side of my discs and kind of pushing those discs out the back side of my spine. I don't know that I think that is the healthiest version of forward fold. Inhale, reaching the chest forward. But maybe I'm wrong. I could very well be wrong, by all means. I do my best to keep you healthy with the research and the studying that I have done along the way, right? Okay, so you ready for our big challenge here? You're gonna go ahead and have your feet in front of you. Some of my friends, you're gonna use your fingers and try to push up into a squat. Some of my friends, you might, I don't even know if I can do it. I think I have to use my fingers to get up there myself. But if you don't need them, don't use them, right? Now, we're gonna try to get the heels down to the ground. For some of my friends, you can do that with your feet in together, and you're welcome to stay there, knees a little wide, arms in. For some of my friends, we need to walk our feet out just a little bit. Maybe we turn our toes out. So kind of play with that line and find out where it is for you that you can find that. And if still it's hard, you've got that blanket potentially behind you, you might fold it a couple of times or roll it up and bring that underneath your heels. Squatting is fantastic, right? They're doing all of these studies, especially in a lot of countries where there still is squatting, because they're not just sitting in chairs all day like us Americans. And I don't know about you, but holy crap, am I sitting so much more than I normally sit? And so there's something about squatting that's really healthy for the body, for the core, for digestion, for our pelvic floor. And so I say, even if you can only stay here for a hot second, do it. Right? But if you can't, come on out. But we're going to try and stay here for about 4 more breaths, and I'm going to keep babbling, hoping that maybe my babbling helps you stay here and just stick through it. It's a super hard pose, and you're working a lot. You might even notice how much your shins are fatiguing right now. For the last little bit, push your heels down, push your heels down. You might notice your buttocks lift. I don't give a crap if the buttocks lifts. What I am looking for is as your heels push down, that pelvic floor lights up, right? All the way through the crown of the head. That's the floor is the base of the core, and it goes all the way up through your spinal column. Take 1 more breath, you're so close. And now from here, we're going to push our heels down so much, we might use fingers and come to a forward fold, that we come on up into Tadasana. Feeling the bony parts of the feet push down. Feeling the fleshy parts lift up through the legs, through the pelvic floor, the low belly, all sides of the spinal column, through the crown of the head. Maybe close the eyes. And we always take a few moments, yeah? If it feels like that was a helpful movement or helpful class sequence, you name it, for your body, maybe you do that more than once. Not necessarily in a day, right? But come back to it. And if that wasn't helpful for you at all, then, gosh, it was only about 29 minutes of your time, and you tried something new, and you did something different, and you carved new neural pathways, and it's still a beautiful thing. And stay there with your eyes closed. Just one more time, I want to read that quote about change, right? Change is not something that we should fear. Rather, it is something that we should welcome. For without change, nothing in this world would ever grow or blossom, and no one in this world would ever move forward to become the person they're meant to be. BKS Iyengar. So what if all of these changes happening change our politics or our healthcare system or the way we treat Mother Nature? What if we change how we are with ourselves and we realize the important things in life, and we keep that in our life a little more as we go back to being busy in the normal, quote, world? I don't know, food for thought. Hands up to the chest, inhale. Exhale, bow the head. Taking a moment of gratitude for these beautiful bodies. They are such amazing, amazing organisms that hold our souls and our spirits. So thank you so much, bodies. We appreciate you. And may all beings everywhere be well. Namaste, friends.